What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video about 7 hours later, I suppose. But yeah, anyways, Raw was a very fantastic and tremendous show, and I thought I might make a review about like every week, every single week on Monday nights when Monday Night Raw goes off the air. And yeah, this was a perfect example of me keeping this momentum going of Raw killing it, even though it's still being referenced that Cody could possibly face Seth Rollins, but we're not sure if that will be the case. But we're gonna get to that in just a moment, right here, right now. But yeah, let me know in the comments below and what your thoughts on Monday Night Raw. But without further ado, let's begin. And I would say 4 out of 5, 4 out of 5 if you ask me. But I'm gonna get to that in just a moment at the end of the video. But then we got a recap of The Rock, recap of SmackDown where Cody Rhodes said he's going to go after Roman, but not at WrestleMania, which they showed The Rock, and he came out there, went face-to-face with the Tribal Chief. But this is where Raw started off with Seth Rollins entering the ring, with him being very happy that he's going to face him instead of Roman in main event WrestleMania. This is where Seth Rollins was like yeah, I told, yeah, fans, like Cody will be mine, but before he said any of that, is where he welcome everybody to Monday Night Rollins in St. Louis, Missouri. I believe they were at, and this is where Seth Rollins like, it's been a hell of a week here, like on the WWE, like after last Friday at SmackDown, and I certainly smell what was cooking. Fans were like, boo, right afterwards, because they did not want to see The Rock taking Cody Rhodes' spot. And who could blame them on that side of things? But I was like, I wouldn't mind if he faced if The Rock versus Roman Reigns match, but when it comes for the championship side of things, I think that belongs in Cody Rhodes' department. But anyway, this is where he turned around, saw the fans right there. And this is where Pat McAfee hilariously said, "Say booish," to say the least, in this into this conversation. This is where or this subject, I should say, which it was more of a subject in the conversation, even though it was kind of even though it was even though he was having the conversation with the fans, but it was a subject that he was on when he was cutting his promo, though. But anyways, this is where the fans also had the signs that said "We want Cody" and hashtag "We want Cody" on these white signs. This is where they had signs that said "Finish the story" with Cody Rhodes right in front of it, doing this pose like "Whoa." Anyway, this is where fans are chanting for Cody. Seth Rollins like, "Yeah, Cody," like. Yeah, and he's like, I sent you guys that want Cody, right? And this is where fans are like, yes. And we start going like, thank you for understanding us. The fans were like, so we're like, well, good news for you guys. I want Cody Rhodes, I want Cody Rhodes as well. Which there was a mixed reaction from the fans. Because Rollins wants the main event WrestleMania. Since it's not going to be against his arch WWE rival CM Punk, it's going to be against the American Nightmare, the other former AEW wrestler that came back to WWE, of course, at least a year before Punk did. And this is where Seth Rollins like, but last Friday, like I had some more questions rather than answers, so I am not gonna waste no more time. Like Cody Rhodes, get out here and come on down here and tell me who you choose at the main event of who's your opponent at the main event WrestleMania is going to be. This is where Cody Rhodes heard this, and this is where he came on down here because there was an obvious call out from the World Heavyweight Champion. He came out there with the entrance that everybody loves. This is where fans are like, Cody gave us. I wish like at least one person understands why that we want Cody, and this is where Seth Rollins brought him out there. This is where Cody was like, so St. Louis crowd, what do you want to talk about? When the fans start continuing to chant his name, this is where he thought. And then, fans were cheering out loud when he said their city's name. And this is where And this is when fans start chanting Roxy, not Roxy. That she's on NXT. She's not on Raw yet. But anyways, but they said Rocky sucks. Like Rocky sucks, and I don't think they should be talking trash on the Brahma Bull / People's Champ. It's not like The Rock wanted to do this to replace Cody Rhodes. He's doing this because so he can have a much better reputation than he already has with TKO. And even though it's kind of selfish the way you explain it that way, but it's gonna bring more profit more profit advantage if they do this match, and it's gonna be the match of the century, what Michael Cole would describe it as. But I agree with some of y'all on the way. Like you could still have Cody Rhodes fight for the WWE Championship, even though like it could be for the Universal Championship, but they should change it to be like I said, the throne of the head of the table like match. Like who's going but with Roman Reigns putting his head of the table moniker on the line. But anyway, that's where we had and this is where both Rollins and Cody was not trying to laugh. This is where Michael Cole hilariously said, is it 1996 again? And then that's what had me laughing. I was like, really, Michael? Really at this time? Even though, like, they're not saying die Rocky die. They say die Rocky. I mean, Rocky sucks. That's what he said. Then just everyone's like, well, it's been a hell of a week, Cody. In a chuckling voice. This was like, and this is when fans are chanting, we want Cody because they want him to face Roman Reigns at the main event of Night 2's WrestleMania for the undisputed WWE Universal Champ, which unfortunately that may not going to be happening. We just need to keep crossing our fingers and hope and pray that they change their minds and have Cody faces the Tribal Chief. But anyway, this is where Seth Rollins did continue after fans started chanting there, we want Cody Trent. And this is where fans start saying Rocky sucks. Like before Seth Rollins can get back on the microphone and talk about what him and Cody wants to talk about. And Cody was like, wow, these fans are really over me now. And this is where Seth Rollins like, look, I'm gonna get this straight to the chase, man. I understand what you're going through. I've been there. I may try to make tough choices when I was in your spot about a few years ago. Yeah, that was true because 5 years ago he won the Royal Rumble. So yeah, he could get where he's coming, where he was talking about, because at first he was not sure until the following week he chose Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. But anyway, this is where Seth Rollins like last week, like I said, this is going to be the most prestigious championship to you in this entire industry. Like I stand by those words. And this is Cody Rhodes like, I know, like I understand what you're coming from. Like, and then this is where Seth Rollins like, I understand by those words. Like, if I'm being perfectly honest to you, like, I need this match as much as you. Like, this is where Cody's like, oh, really? Like, didn't you already have Match Mania? Look like a sarcastic response. This is where Seth Rollins like, I know, like, I am better than I was back last time we met in this ring 2 years ago. Like, I got to know, like, that I am the best. Like, and the only way I get to know that if I'm the best is if I test myself against my best and the Cody Rhodes. Like, you are sure as hell the best. Fans like, yes. Like, he proven himself for almost a decade ago when he left the company first. And this is where Seth Rollins like, no, let's get to the chase and get some answers out of you. Are you going to fight me at the grandest stage of them all, which is known as WrestleMania? Cody Rhodes was like, I don't know. Like, this is what he said in a whispering voice while saying it on the microphone. And the fans like, no, don't answer it. If I was there in St. Louis, I would be saying the same thing. I'll be like, no, please, Cody. And this is where, thank God, like, saved by the bell or saved by the sword, the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre came out there to convince Cody Rhodes to pick Roman, and so he can have his moment of becoming world champion against Seth Rollins. And I was like, please take, and that's what I was saying to Cody, like, please listen to Drew. Like, even though he did horrible things to the likes of you, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Seth Rollins, he's on to something about this. Like he even wanted to see you finish your story, like as much as we do. And he's trying to finish his, even though it's for the expense of trying to finish his story becoming world champion. But why the hell not? Like he like he barely finished this first story at 4 years ago in front of no crowd. So this is the best way to have him getting that opportunity once again. This is where Drew McIntyre's like, this is where fans started booing and half of them were cheering like in a mixed reaction because now he's officially a heel. But this is where, and this is where Drew McIntyre's like, I speak on the behalf of everybody that what the hell. And then fans like, yeah, like you definitely speak for us right now. Like, and this is where Drew McIntyre's like, you were confidently ready for WrestleMania, and then like and now all of a sudden you're gonna screw it all up, and the fans are like, yeah, like Drew has a point here. Like Seth, like the. Like you're you're the second most top star that hates Punk as much as me, and you and he was not gonna face you anyways because I took him out of the Rumble. Like it was supposed to be in this week. Like you and I tonight, like we're gonna have our main event moment match at WrestleMania for your championship. So I never made no promises, so don't count on it. This is where Drew McIntyre's like, am I right? And the fans like, yes. And I was like, yeah, like I agree with the fans on here on this one about Drew McIntyre on this point. Like, and this is where he took off his jacket. This is where he revealed the shirt saying like CM Punk's WrestleMania dreams is dead or something like that on his shirt that he was wearing, which I believe he's gonna start, which him and WWE gonna be selling at on WWEshop.com as merchandise, and hopefully they will. I would recommend you guys to buy it from there. And I'm not sure about Pro Wrestling Tees because WWE's the novelty shirts, they don't really sell. Will be selling there, at least not at this time. I'm not sure if they ever did, but anyways, this is where then Drew McIntyre started begging and pleading, saying like, Cody, go finish your story. Fans like, yes, please listen to Drew. This is the only time you should be listening to the Scotsman. And this is where Drew McIntyre's like, think about what happened to last year's WrestleMania. Think about what the work you did finished from here. Like when if you're on or off this TV, the fans are over you. Like, you earned this spot, Cody. Like, why did you go give it away? And the fans like, yeah. And Drew McIntyre, don't let me, your family, don't leave any of your fans down that paid attendance here tonight. Like, he was like, don't let it go just because everyone else does around here. Like I know the champion and for the championship wrestling. Like, but don't let your dad down. The man that you're trying to get the opportunity of the lifetime. This is where Seth Rollins like, look, Drew, you don't have to be a prick here. All right. And the fans are like, who are you saying about being a prick? I've been preaching the truth right now. This is where Seth Rollins like, what in the world are you thinking? He doesn't accept my challenge at WrestleMania? Like, and like, you think he's gonna be with me? Because we've done this twice, and the last time I remember correctly, I won for those matches, and you lost twice. Drew McIntyre's like, don't remind me. And this is where he responded back saying, we both know that outside reason I know both those matches, including the second one. But I'm like on the, and he was like, but let's look back 2 years ago. Did you lost to him like about 3 straight times to be the exact when he made his return? And this is where fans like, oh, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna say something more nicer than that. I'm gonna say something more nice, like what you said about like with you between you and Cody Rhodes, like you just ignore him right now. Like you did an amazing job. We're working that title and being a workhorse. Like you're working every single week to make that championship mean something and make that the workhorse champion, the most prestigious champion in this company. Now you did that, Seth. Like you're nothing to say, and no one else have to say. Like this is the case of advice for this championship. Like unlike Roman Reigns' titles, like because nobody do not want to fight him for the shot because it's gonna be the same predictable results. Like he's gonna be cheating every single time, and he has his cousin. He did that to me. He did that to Cody. He did that to everybody else. I was like, yeah. And put that injury on the side and do the and then face me instead of Cody, and I'm gonna finish the job. And I'm gonna finish that job by But with Drew McIntyre gonna be world champion and take it from here, and this is where he hits a Glasgow headbutt right onto Seth Rollins. This is where Cody Rhodes turns him around, start hitting right hands, and then this is where Drew McIntyre tried to fight back, but but Cody Rhodes was eventually enough for him, too much for him, I should say. I think not enough, more like too much, and this is where then Cody Rhodes threw him out of the ring, and this is where Cody Rhodes like, you want to fight? Like, we can do this right here, right now. Like, you're lucky if I have to face Shinsuke for the bull rope match, which, by the way, was a very tremendous match, which did deserve #1 spot on my video, of course. But this is where we're going to move on to the Fatal 4-Way match between DIY, New Day, Creed Brothers, and Imperium. And then a #1 contenders qualifier tournament match in this Fatal 4-Way match. And let me tell you, this was, I would say, at least the third match of the night. Like, if you ask me, if how to rank it tonight, right? Because they were fighting like if they really was fighting for the WWE Tag Team Championships. But yeah, it started off with Xavier Woods and Tommaso Ciampa, which they start off with the grappling, and this is where fans start chanting New Day rocks, and this is where Tommaso Ciampa's like, oh, brother, like, they're going to be chanting this, and this is where they start grappling. Now this dude going back and forth. Tommaso Ciampa got him into a headlock. This is where Xavier Woods then pushes him right to the left corner side ropes, throw him right to the right side. This is where Tommaso Ciampa shoulder tackles him. This is where he runs right to the left corner side. This is where Xavier Woods ducks, leapfrogs, like, we go back to the left. He hits a missile drop kick right onto his face. This is where Xavier Woods was like, what? Like, all right, Tommaso, show me what you got. This is where he did a wrist lock right onto him. He tagged Kofi in. This is where he Irish whipped him right to Kofi. Kofi hits a drop kick, I believe, right, with him still hanging on to the right on, or with a shoulder bump, I should say, or a headbutt, like when he was still hanging on to the middle ropes. This is where he hits a springboard crossbody frog splat. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where Tommaso Ciampa kicks out right at 2.3. And then this is where he tags in Xavier Woods. They had a double team maneuver. This is where Xavier Woods tried to go for a pinfall, but he only get 2.1. This is where Xavier Woods then did a wrist lock right onto Kofi Kingston, tagging in Kofi. This is where he hit the double foot stomp right onto the Tommaso Ciampa. And this is where Kofi Kingston was like, all right, well, who wants some next? Like, do you want some too? This is where he scared off both Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Like, when they jumped out of their corners in the bottom right corner, this is where he got Tommaso Ciampa in the back belly position maneuver, but he gets elbow strike by the former NXT champion. This is where he went right to the right corner side ropes. This is where Kofi did a duck and leapfrog. He went right back in the corner. This is where he hits reverse leapfrog, and he tried to go for a flying elbow strike right onto Tommaso Ciampa, but he counters and intercepts with a big boot. And this is where he tags in Giovanni Vinci tags himself in the match. Or no, it was Ludwig Kaiser, I believe. Was it Ludwig Kaiser or Giovanni? But yeah, let me know in the comments. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll say Ludwig Kaiser. But this is where he strikes right on to Tommaso Ciampa and Ludwig Kaiser. This is where then Kaiser fought back and hit a strike right to him like a clothesline. This is where he throws Kofi Kingston right to the bottom, their corner in the bottom right, and left shoulder first right onto the steel ring post. And this is where he draped him right off the right corner ropes in the outside, and then a drop kick him out of the running from the left corner side ropes. This is where he's like, Forever Imperium. And this is where we got him back in the ring with them double teaming the poor Dreadlock Dynamo New Day member, because they're in a very heated rivalry. If you haven't noticed, like if you've been under a rock for the past 2 months, but this is where Ludwig Kaiser tried to hold Kofi hostage, like after their double team maneuver, like put him in a guillotine headlock maneuver. But Kofi Kingston started striking him with lefts and right punches right into the gut of the personal ring announcer / son of the ring general and the leader of the MV list for AEW. That's where Ludwig Kaiser then eventually Irish whip him right to back to his corner in the upper right. But this is where Kofi springboard and pushes Giovanni Vinci off of him and did him with a springboard drop kick right on the jaw of Ludwig Kaiser. This is where Xavier Woods like, come on, tag me in, Kofi, tag me in. And this is where Giovanni Vinci tried to ask his brother to tag him in. He's like, come on, brother, tag me in. And this is where he got tagged in. This is where Kofi tagged in Xavier Woods, with Xavier Woods hitting clothesline right on the Ludwig Kaiser. And then Giovanni Vinci, and also to Ludwig Kaiser right off the outside into the bottom corner. This is where Irish whipping from the left corner side to the right corner. Hit a back-legged kick like if he was Booker T. This is what I believe was paying tribute to saying get better soon from his procedure. And this is where Tommaso Ciampa came in and he Irish whipped Xavier Woods right into the left corner side, tried to close on him. But this is where Xavier Woods ducks, hit a sliding baseball duck and hit a discus elbow. This is where Julius Creed then throws him right to his corner, his own corner in the upper left. This is where he tried to charge at him. This is where he tried to charge and try to spear him, but he gets kicked right into the face by the trombone-playing New Day member. But he kicks him right in the face. It's that leaping flip clothesline right onto him. That's where he thought he was, I believe, either Gohan or Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. This is where he's like, And this is where he hits a super kick right into the face of Giovanni Vinci. This is where Johnny Gargano tags himself from Giovanni, which he was hanging off to his corner on the right side. This is where Xavier Woods was like, time for the finish off Giovanni Vinci, but not this time, because once he tried to go their side, this is where Johnny Gargano hit the slingshot springboard spear right out of nowhere. This is where Brutus Creed then tried to go for a back-to-belly maneuver, try to push him right onto Tommaso Ciampa, but he dodges hit the elbow right into his face. And this is where he goes for a sliced bread with the help of his tag partner, Tommaso Ciampa, giving him a boost up, making him do a backflip right onto the air. This is where Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa hit a same time springboard crossbody on the Creed brothers, both Brutus and Julius. This is where they did their hand movement maneuvers, like doing a clap, and then patting the back, like they usually do, like because they have a little comedic, goofy side of them, like a goofy wrestling for life, goofy wrestling of the night, I should say. Until they got back up. This is where he gets double drop kicked by Kofi Kingston right out on the outside. This is where Kofi Kingston's like, yeah, like both men are out. This is where he started running like, come on. And this is where he runs right from the left corner side to go for the right, but he gets intercepted by his arch rivals, Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. Like they dragged him out to the left corner side of the ringside area, started double teaming him with right hands, fist right into his head and his back until Johnny Gargano hit the suicide dive on both men. This is where Johnny Gargano tried to grab on the Ludwig to get him back in the ring, but this is where Brutus Creed came out of nowhere and hit a springboard senton onto everybody that was in the left corner ringside area, which it'll keep showing instant replays like about 2 or 3 different times. And this is where Xavier Woods tried to join in the fun. It's about time he made it up to the top, except this time in the bottom left. But this is where Tommaso Ciampa's like, oh, no, you don't. Like, you're coming down with me, and you're going down first. And this is where he picks him up into that white noise-like maneuver. Like, landed on everybody that was in the match. And this is where Michael Gold's like, oh, my God. Like, everybody's body's going everywhere. And then this is where we finally got him back in the ring with Tommaso Ciampa and Giovanni Vinci were legal man. And this is where Tommaso Ciampa, this is where he tried to go for a suplex onto Tommaso Ciampa with his brother Ludwig Kaiser in the double suplex. This is where Kofi and Xavier Woods got back in the ring. This is where they tried to save Tommaso from getting double suplex. And this is where they try to go for a double powerbomb on him, along with them trying to go for a double suplex on Ciampa and turn it into a double Tower of Doom coming right from the bottom left corner off the top rope. And then this is where they landed back shooting in an agonizing manner, I should say. This is where Brutus Creed then went up right on that exact same top rope when every man got off of and did the Tower of Doom. This is where Brutus Creed then tried to go for, I believe, a moonsault right off the top, which he did onto Ludwig Kaiser, because I believe he tagged himself in the match. And he was legal along with Ludwig Kaiser until the New Day came in for the save and managed to save their rights of being still in this tournament. for the undisputed tag team champion against the Judgment Day. And this is where Tommaso Ciampa was back in the match. This is where he knocked out the New Day, and he tried to go for a suicide dive, I believe, off the from the left course out to the right course out until he got intercepted into a pouncing shoulder tackle, like if he was Keith Lee, like if Brutus Creed was Keith Lee. This was like like not on my watch. And this is where he caught. This is where then Giovanni he caught Giovanni Vinci doing a springboard frog splash, crossbody frog splash right from the right corner side, and this is where he caught him while he did a backflip by catching him. This is where then Brutus Creed then go for an ankle lock right in the middle of the ring. This is where Giovanni Vinci like, no, not the ankle, not the ankle. And this is where he's like, no, I'll never tap. I will never. This is where losing contract saved his brother, but he gets belly-to-belly suplex by Brutus Creed's brother, Julius Creed. This is where Johnny Gargano tried to come and stop the submission hold, but this is where Brutus Creed also belly-to-belly him as well after Ludwig. This is where Julius Creed caught Kofi, tried to go for a crossbody to stop the ankle lock, but this is where he had also Kofi Kingston with a belly-to-belly. This is where Tommaso Ciampa grabs on him and try to go for a headlock right onto Brutus Creed, but this is where luckily Julius Creed was there. This is where Xavier Woods tried to come in and try to go for a super kick, but he caught his leg, and then this is where he like go for a dragon screw, but he had a double hip suplex on both Ciampa and Woods. This is where he took off his suspenders off of his onesie. He's like, come on, bro, you got this locked in. You got this opportunity for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. Come on, keep it locked, bend it back. And this is where both Ludwig, Tommaso, Johnny, and Woods and Kofi finally came back in. That he belly-to-belly suplexed and stopped this from getting them a win. This is where we got everybody going on the outside on the right corner side. This is where Brutus Creed saw this as an opportunity to hit a Brutus bomb onto everybody, like with his arms up while everybody brawling when they got back up. This is where he threw him right in back in Giovanni Vinci back in the ring because he was the legal man. This is where Tommaso Ciampa snookingly tagged himself in the match. And this is where Brutus Creed was up in the upper right-hand corner. You're getting the Brutus bomb while Julius Creed got him in the electric chair position. But what they didn't know that Tommaso Ciampa already tagged himself in the match. This is where Tommaso Ciampa hit that running knee strike right into the head of Brutus Creed while Johnny Gargano got Julius with a super kick. This is where they got Giovanni Vinci right where they want him in the middle. This is where Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa hit they double-teamed knee strike super kick combo maneuver. And this is where Johnny Gargano hilariously forgot that he wasn't the legal man. And it was his tag partner, which Tommaso Ciampa had to remind him, like, no, like, this is my spot. Like, get out of the way. And this is where he got the pin. They got the 1, 2, 3. And they managed to win the match with the 1, 2, 3. And your winners and meeting British Strong Style, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate on SmackDown Friday night in a finals match against them. The winner gets to face the Judgment Day, I believe, at Elimination Chamber. And I think whoever wins this is going to become the new undisputed tag team champion, because Judgment Day has been showing signs that they're going to be splitting up, at least kicking out Damian Priest for a start. But I would say, even though it did not had the Awesome Truth, aka the Miz and R-Truth in the match, like, it still was a great match. Like, it was very entertaining. Something that the tag team division needed. Like, even though it maybe was a little bit too much of making a fatal 4-way match for this past Friday and this this week's episode of Monday Night Raw to do a tournament for the undisputed tag team championship, who's going to be the number one contender. But I think it's going to be British Strong Style's going to win. The guy can think of two reasons, because we're going to bring the undisputed tag championships back to SmackDown and make it the WWE Tag Team Championships, while we're going to probably be reforming the World Tag Team Champions over the Raw. Like, we're going to probably do a tournament, and the winner gets to be World Tag Team Champions at the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania 40. And do you think that's what's going to happen? Let me know in the comments down below, which I believe, and two reasons why. That's the first reason. And two, like DIY already had an opportunity against the Judgment Day, but they unsuccessfully lost. I'm not doubting that they would not get another chance in actually winning, which I would say they could do it, because what would be the whole point of them getting another opportunity for the tag team champ not being successful? It's completely meaningless. Like, you might as well give it to the British Strong Style, whether if they win or not. I'll prefer somebody on SmackDown like the Street Profits win the Undisputed Tag Team, turn just the WWE Tag Team Championships like it was once again. But we're just gonna have to see what's gonna be happening in the foreseeable future of who's gonna be the new tag champion, turn it to the WWE Tag Team Championship, and then revive the World Tag Team Champion over to Raw. Like something similar to like the World Heavyweight Champion, like they did with that. Like they unified the Raw and SmackDown Tag Championships like they did with the Universal and the WWE World Championship, turned to the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And then they revived the World Heavyweight Championship because of Roman Reigns' lengthy and unbeatable title reign, because of obvious reasons of the bloodline always keep being involved. But anyways, let's move on to the next slide. And do you think he'll win British Strong Style or DIY this coming Friday on the number one contenders finals match of qualifying the match, I believe it's the Judgment Day. This is where we got, next up we got Becky Lynch, and I would say perhaps the second match of the night, even though like we know it was going to be predictable, because Shayna Baszler is never going to be Becky Lynch. Well, at least at this time, until we can finally have another match with them for a championship, perhaps for the Women's World Championship in the foreseeable future. That's only if Shayna Baszler can prove herself to be back in the main event spot in the women's division, of course. But I think now she got a lot more months ahead of her in order to prove that. But for now, this is Becky Lynch's moment. Like, and we all know who's going to win this qualifier match. Like between Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler, to see who's going to get this first spot of the Women's World Championship number one contender Elimination Chambers match. Who's going to be facing either Rhea Ripley or Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship. This is where we start off the match with Becky Lynch trying to attempt to do the disarmer like about 20 million different times until Shayna Baszler flips her right over, and this is where she try to go for a carry-footed clutch. This is where Becky Lynch did try to go for a roll-up, but this is where Shayna Baszler kicked out at 2.1, I believe. And I was like, one day they need to have a submission match, like they did, like what Becky Lynch did when she wrestled Natalya back at SummerSlam 5 years ago in 2019. They need to do that once again, except this time with her facing the Queen of Spades rather than the Queen of Hearts in the cards. And whatever happened to Queen of Diamonds and Queen of Clubs, which I don't think they ever made their debuts in WWE yet. So for now, we're just going to have these queens from the card shuffle deck, I should say. But anyway, this is where we got Becky was trying to attempt. I was like, they might as well should have made this a submission match, because they keep going for their respective finishing submission maneuver. Like with Becky Lynch with the disarmer and Shayna Baszler with the carry-footed clutch. And this is where she pushed right off. This is where okay, like maybe I should just wait until when you're down for good. This is where Becky Lynch is like, okay, let's do this the old-fashioned way. And this is where they start spinning around until they try to look like they're about to lock horns. But Baszler's like, yeah, like the typical grappling is for losers. This is where she tried to go for a roundhouse kick, but she dug. This is where Baszler didn't try to go for a strike right into her ribs. But this is where Becky Lynch's like, you know what, forget it. I might as well just end you right here, right now, and get to the point and making my point known as I'm going to be the one that's going to dethrone Rhea Ripley. This is where Shayna Baszler then hit a knee strike right into the face of Becky Lynch. This is where she was like face by nose and limb by limb. She was like, I'm going to get that spot against Rhea and get my revenge from NXT 4.5 years ago. And this is where she got her in a hammerlock. And this is where she tried to turn it into a carry for the clutch. But this is where Becky Lynch threw on the outside, right into the left corner side of the ringside area. This is where Becky Lynch just run right to the right corner side. Hits a baseball kick, slide kick right onto the outside. This is where Becky Lynch was right on the left corner side apron. This is where Becky Lynch hit a big forearm, but Baszler got her into a carry for the clutch. But this is where Becky Lynch hang on to the the ring apron in the left corner side, but this is where Baszler turned around, hit a sliding kick right onto her head, and then this is where she fell right back. She like boom and landed right onto Simba the Steel steps. This is where Baszler was like, Like this, where she tried to just make her hand, try to fit her hand right into that little hole, like that little hole, like where you grab on the handlebars of the Simba the Steel Step, try to trap her in there with her hand and try to mess up her arm so she won't use it. Like when she's trying to do the disarm her or even the manhandle slam, because this is where she tried to go for her kick and she stomped on it. This is where Becky was like, oh my God, like no, I hope it's not broken. I need this moment. I need to be the one to end the reign of terror of Rhea. And this is where Baszler's like, no, you got it all wrong because that spot belongs to me. And this is where I saw an SNA fan in the audience front row. Or no, that was just the Walmart commercial. But yeah, I need for some reason, I need to get some kind of stemmatized lenses on my mask because I couldn't see like what the difference of who was a fan of an SNA fan in general, or even an SNA fan of the wrestling side of things. But anyways, we're gonna talk about them getting back in the ring. This is where Shayna Baszler then. This is where Shayna Baszler tried to annihilate her with her arm and also her face, but this is where Becky Lynch finally got back in her game, started hitting strikes right onto her, like hitting clotheslines and drop kicks. This is where she had her placed right into the bottom right corner turnbuckle. This is where she tried to go for her Bexploder Super after she struck her with a flying clothesline. This is where she tried to do that, but this is where Shayna Baszler then hit a exploder suplex of her own, and then a sliding knee strike right into her face, looking like a shiny wizard. This is where she tried to go for her pin. But this is where Becky Lynch kicks out of the Queen of Spades' maneuver from what she hit onto her. This is where Baszler was like, okay, that didn't work. Like, how about I just do my ultimate maneuver, and that's bend her arm backwards right into the opposite side. And this is where when she was turning her around, this is where she was hanging on to her arm with her foot. This is where she was about to let go and try to do the stomp. But luckily, Becky Lynch moved out of the way, or she would have gotten a broken arm. This is where Becky Lynch tried to go for a manhandle slam, but Shayna Baszler dodged out of it. This is where they tried to go for a arm bar, like a disarmer of her own. This is where Becky Lynch tried to steal her move into the Karafuda clutch, but Baszler tried to bend her arm to let her go. This is where Becky Lynch like, no, I'm not letting go. Like this is where go to sleep with your own finishing maneuver, but this is where Baszler flips her out of it. This is where she tried to take a breather right off the upper left corner side, but Becky Lynch said like, there's no timeouts in pro wrestling. I don't need no breather. This is where she tried to clothesline her off the upper left corner, but this is where Baszler flips her over right on the top apron. This is where she did it with a right forearm though to Shayna Baszler. This is where she went right on the right off the top rope, hit a middle drop kick right onto the face of Baszler. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but referee counted one, referee counted two, but Baszler had a shoulder right at 2.6, I believe, with her left shoulder. This is where Becky Lynch finally got her in the disarmer, but I don't think Shayna Baszler ever got tapping out, so she was a woman of her word. She never will get tapped out. Like, especially not this time when she's still known as the dominant woman in sports entertainment / pro wrestling. Like, she may lose it by pinfall, but definitely not by submission. And that should belong to somebody that's a more submission specialist than she is herself.